And my colleague Akshay Dongre is joining me live on this. Hi Akshay, very good morning to you. Akshay, what do we know as far as the US's sanctions on major Russian oil companies are concerned?
Well, a very good morning to you, Siddharth, and to all of our viewers. Now, as far as these new sanctions are concerned, they have been imposed on two Russian oil firms, Rosneft and Lukoil. Now, these are two major petroleum producer, firms that are there in the Russian Federation. They do most of the businesses, do businesses with other international partners as well, and are involved in exploration of gas and oil and production of it as well, along with the refinery process that goes on in Russia before it gets exported to the rest of the world. However, now with the sanctions in place, so what changes now is that the American individuals will not be able to do business with the two firms. All the assets of the owners and stakeholders of these two firms in the US will be frozen now. Also, there will be some, heavy penalty if, allies or American people try to do business. There are already sanctions in place by the European partners. So clearly, pressure will be mounting on these two firms, especially given the fact that sanctions are not going down; they are just going up. And in the coming days, we can expect more harsher measures to bring about an halt in the process, or rather in the working of the Russian firms. But they have other markets. Siddharth, they have Chinese market. They are trying to explore other markets in the east as well. There are countries that still require oil, and given the fact that with these kind of conflicts, going on for so many years now, in fact, the affordable oil for most of the developing world is just not affordable anymore, and people are countries are trying to find all the alternatives that they can find. For example, India has been taking Russian oil. It has a long-standing ties with the Russian Federation. Both are close allies, and with the kind of oil prices going up and being controlled by only one lobby, India also is buying the Russian oil. China is buying the most, and with these kind of sanctions coming in, we can expect the prices to go up, but to expect the production to almost end or almost stop is going too far as the expectations are concerned.
Very nicely explained there, Akshay. So basically, it comes down to denting Russia's economy, right? And also, Akshay, Russia's strategic nuclear forces also carried out a readiness test supervised by Putin. What does this indicate? Is something big coming up?
Well, let's hope so not, Siddharth, because anything big will be the playing out of Mad Doctrine, which is mutually assured destruction. Because a country as huge as Russia, which has as many stockpiles of of nuclear assets, nuclear weapons, it is clearly posturing right now. It is trying to show a tough face to the Western allies, to the US President Donald Trump, showcasing that it's not a country that can be bullied by sanctions, that cannot be bullied by threats. Because we have to remember that this very Russian Federation just a few decades back was a superpower, known as Soviet Union, which was Russia was the biggest member of the Soviet Union. In fact, almost 90% of Soviet Union was Russian Federation. It still has all of the nuclear stockpiles that were there of the Soviet Union. It has the advanced weaponry, a very advanced army, air force, navy. So it's not a country that is in any way inferior when it comes to military capabilities are concerned. It has not unleashed all of its military capabilities in Ukraine yet, because it would have meant not only the local population to also suffer, but a lot more, including the fallout of the war and the war spreading to other regions as well. So yes, this is posturing happening. It's quite dangerous posturing, in fact, involving any kind of nuclear talks into the discussion when the discussions are going on about any conflict or any other thing. But this clearly is going to put a lot of pressure on the Western economies as well, on the US economy as well. So it remains to be seen that after this posturing, what will be done, whether there will be an off-ramp that will be sought by the Russian leadership, or are they really serious about escalating this conflict to a new level. Back to you, Siddharth.
Akshay, as far as this conflict is concerned, will there be an end to this conflict? Because there are demands from both the sides, and especially when it comes to Zelensky, he has categorically said that no territorial concessions will take place no matter what. What's your
Well,
assessment of this?
Siddharth, if history has taught us anything, it is that every conflict comes to an end. Even the World War came to an end. But it depends now how much losses the two sides are willing to sustain. Because for stubbornness of the political leadership, it is the people that suffer. It's not the leaders that are dying; it's the common people that are dying. So naturally, there has to be a pressure from within the countries as well. If the population is suffering, if the economies are suffering, because dialogue and discussion, as countries like India have been promoting and have been urging the countries to follow, that dialogue and discussion are the only way forward and only way out of this conflict. And any kind of escalation to the conflict will only mean more tears and more pain and more loss of loved ones for the common people.
Definitely, Akshay, you said it right, and I second you in this, that a solution cannot be found on the battlefield, and dialogue and diplomacy is the only solution to end any conflict. But very well explained there. Thank you so much, Akshay.